It was actually when you did it
Okay.
last time. It was good enough.
Recording.
All right, cool. All right. Hi, everybody. I know I'm off screen, but my name is Devan Young, and this is my first reading for my first script, The Qualm and Shadows. So I'm going to introduce everybody. To our left is Chance Howard, and he'll be reading for Darron.
You really need to be in front of the mic in order to hear it.
Oh, okay.
It is a directional mic.
Directional mics. Anyway. So yeah, Devan Young, first script, Qualm and Shadows. So to the left is Chance Howard. He'll be reading for Darron. In the middle is Devante Winfrey. He'll be reading for Miles. And then to the right is Kwaku ML, and he'll be reading for male voiceover, Kyle and Man. And to our bottom is our cameraman / narrator, Casey Bouknight. Without further ado, we'll Qualm and Shadows. And action.
Fade in. Although we are no longer afraid, do we begin to live. Dorothy Thompson, American journalist. Interior, the young residence. Kitchen, day. The sun shines through the kitchen window on the fall afternoon in northern Indiana. Miles, 13, helps his father, Darron, 44, to replace the kitchen sink. They are both clothed in old blue jeans, worn-out shirts, dirty Timberland boots, work gloves, and safety glasses. Darron works under the sink while Miles tinkers with the discarded old sink. Miles stops what he is doing and prepares to speak to his father. He hesitates for a moment. Finally, he breaks the silence.
So I finished things fall apart.
Darron focuses on the sink.
You were right about it takes on the realities of colonialism. Even though I think everything that happened to Okinawa was...
Okonkwo.
Miles laughs but stops after he receives no response from his father.
It was just hard for me to feel bad for him after it was all said and done. I mean, why would anyone with such influence...
Darron hurts himself when he loses his focus.
God.
He gets out from under the sink and yells to himself, then directs his anger towards Miles.
God damn it. Seriously, Miles, I'm trying to work here. If you see I'm busy, just stop running your mouth and let me focus.
Miles is on the verge of crying. Darron takes a deep breath and then rubs his eyes. Miles holds back his tears and sniffs before he speaks.
Sorry, Dad.
It's fine.
Darron cracks a smile towards his son. Miles avoids looking directly at his father. Darron turns his head for a moment, then goes back under the kitchen sink.
Damn it.
What's wrong?
It looks like I didn't put enough putty on the new strainers. Could you help me out?
Miles helps his father out from under the sink. Darron dusts off his pants and takes off his safety glasses. Darron walks over to Miles to tell him something.
Look, I didn't mean to.
It's fine.
Darron is trying to look his son in the eyes, but Miles hangs his head down. There is a couple of seconds of silence before Darron speaks.
Tell you what, can you do me a huge favor?
What? Sure.
I forgot a couple of things in my other bag. Could you get them for me?
Okay.
Thanks, bud.
Darron smiles and Miles slightly lifts his head to smile back at his dad. Darron pats Miles gingerly on the back. Miles leaves the room hesitantly while Darron attends to the sink. Before leaving the kitchen completely, Miles turns around and looks at Darron.
Make it quick. When we finish, we'll get something to eat.
Miles nods at his father and leaves. Interior hallway, continuous. Miles walks down the hallway. On the walls are various family photos and his parents' college degrees. As Miles approaches the end of the hallway, he sees a large portrait. The portrait is an old picture of his father, mother, and brother and himself. Miles freezes in his place. His face has a look of sorrow and remorse. The door leading to his father's office, to his right, slowly starts to crack open. The room inside is pitch black. A whisper emerges from inside his father's office.
Miles. Miles. Come here, Miles.
At first, Miles can't move. His hands are shaking and his eyes are wide open. Miles approaches the room and slowly proceeds to poke his head inside. He fumbles around for a light switch but can't find it. After a few seconds, he backs out of the room. He rubs his head briefly. The door slams shut and startles Miles. He immediately runs away from the door. Interior basement, staircase, continuous. Miles stands at the top of the stairs that leads to the basement trying to catch his breath. As Miles begins to descend down the stairs, he hears laughter coming from below. It is the sound of two children playing. Miles recoils at the noise and takes a step back. The laughter intensifies. Miles closes his eyes. He whispers to himself.
Please stop.
The laughter dies down. Miles opens his eyes and incautiously continues into the basement. Interior basement, continuous. Miles turns on the light switch. A dim light exposes the basement from the prologue. Miles observes his surroundings. It's seemingly empty space encapsulated by dim gray walls. He spots a tool bag that he came to get. While walking, his attention shifts to the door frame next to the tool bag, next to the tool shelf in the corner of the basement. The door frame leads to a dark, empty space. Miles approaches the tool bag. The sound of crying emerges from the empty room. It sounds like a young child sobbing. It grows louder as Miles approaches the tool shed. Miles begins to breathe heavily. Miles is on the verge of tears as he reaches the tool bag. He begins to hyperventilate. He closes his eyes and tries to calm himself.
God, make it stop.
The crying stops. Miles opens his eyes and relaxes his body. Miles faces the doorframe to the empty room. He then hangs his head and clenches his fist. Miles relaxes his hand and uses it to grab the tool bag.
Miles.
Miles leaps after hearing this and drops the tool bag. Some of the tools are now scattered on the floor.
Yes, Dad.
What's taking you so long?
Sorry, Dad. I'll be right up.
Alright. Hurry up. I want to finish this before your mother gets home and starts fussing.
Miles scans the floor. All the tools landed relatively close to him. He tries to pick up the screwdriver, but it slips out of his hand and rolls all the way to the foot of the doorframe leading to the dark room. Suddenly crying is heard emerging from the room. This wailing noise quickly encompasses the entire basement. The noise intensifies. Can you cut the video?
Sure.
Okay. Start it up.